did a drilling. We put together some training on what we call drilling basics, and part of that was a piece on safety. And we came up with a safety checklist that we put on sort of a laminated card you could keep on the rig front and back. And it was a combination of some of our drilling contractors that are in the oil and gas field, or some that are on government projects or highly engineered projects. And we sort of were able to sort of take a little from each one of those and put together what we thought was important. And we started teaching that, and we got really good results. Because today's workforce is coming from what I call a growing up with this assumption of safety. I'm safe all the time. I've never, ever been hurt, broken a bone, gotten stitches, because everything that I've been around, right, from a child and up, is pretty much vetted. It's safe. And even in sports, maybe a sports injury, but they have no understanding that going into the field of well drilling and pump installing, that they're working around things that are unsafe. There's just never, they have no awareness of it. So it's a situational awareness that we teach. We've had some vets that have worked for our company, and we've been involved in it. I know there are a lot of veterans in the well drilling fields, and you sit down and talk about them, and you'll see them. They'll sit with their back. They'll always be watching the door, even when they're with their families, because they've been trained that way. They'll always look at people's hands, because you can always tell what a person's going to do by watching their hands. You can see their true intention by watching their hands. And I thought that was just fascinating. So I thought about, how do we incorporate this in safety training? So in our world, what should you be looking at, right? Okay. If you look at, if your field of vision is right here and you don't see this or that, so it's really looking up. So looking up, meaning what is above us? Are we raising our tower into power lines? We've had those experiences before where power lines weren't there the night before, and then we go out to the same job site, and believe it or not, maybe they've made a new drop of power lines. I know this sounds like a made-up example. It's not. I was on that rig, and we raised that derrick right into those power lines, and thank goodness they were not energized. So it's don't assume anything. So don't assume that when you lift that mast up that something's not going to fall out of it. And so there comes in your hard hats. We talk about gloves and wedding rings, that, fingers and hands, everything on you can get pulled into that drilling rig. And we talk about different examples of that. But then have an awareness of what on that drilling rig could fail, and if it were to fail and you were in that area, how you might be exposed. Now, Europe and other countries are way far ahead of the United States in safety guards and lockout controls and this and that. And I'm not advocating that we have to redesign all our drilling rigs, but we need to train anybody that's going to go on your job sites. And if they're new and they're showing up to work, they don't know what everybody else on that crew knows. And there may not be a mechanism in your business to train those individuals. So we'd like to kind of open up that discussion. How can we jump in there with you? How can we be a resource for you, that when you have new people showing up and you have new people, summer help, my kids, right? I've put them in the shop, and we've put them out there delivering stuff, and they want to be involved. It's a family business. That's what I love about this business. But have we done enough to train them to say, hey, you can't wear these shoes in here, right? Or you have to be aware, you can't stand in this area. Or anything that is around you can hurt you, and how can it hurt you? So you need to be aware, keep your body positioned. But it really is where your hands are, your feet are, your head is, and it all comes from your eyes, where you're looking. And just have an awareness of the environment that you're in. But in order to have that awareness, they need to know these are the hazards. And you're in an environment that has these hazards, and it can be mitigated. It can be a safe environment if you have an awareness, you've been taught, and you have the proper PPE on.